Alright, so in today's video, we're going to be checking out the Carnival LR Gohan, because of course he is dropping tonight on Global Dokkan alongside the Carnival LR Goku. And this guy is really good. He does kind of get overshadowed by the Carnival LR Goku, because I would say he's just a little bit better than this guy, but that's not to say this guy's bad. He's still a very useful unit. You know, he's a stacker. He's got a lot of built-in additionals, which because he's stacking, it makes those additionals, really important. He does have damage reduction as well, so overall an amazing slot 2 unit. But there are a couple design choices with him that I'm not really a big fan of, but we'll talk about that later in the video. So before we get into it, if you find yourself enjoying the video at any point, feel free to like and subscribe. Also keep in mind there are timestamps in the video, so if you want to skip around to any part, then absolutely feel free to do that. And yeah, let's get right into it. So on this opening rotation right here, we're not going to have any links active, so unfortunately we didn't get the best opener. We have a full Kid Gohan rotation, but we do have a lot of support between the AGL Gohan and then the 50% support Gohan. So we're starting off with 382k defense. I mean, that's not amazing because in slot 1, he's still going to take a lot of damage, right? Because he gets a lot of his defense or defensive capabilities after he supers. But in slot 2, you get the 30% damage reduction after, you super because you do the 18 key. And then he's looking at, over 400k defense with 30% damage reduction, because then, of course, he is also getting the defense on super because he's stacking. So there's a lot to this guy. We'll go over his kit in a minute, but yeah, right here, pretty solid rotation. Again, though, keep in mind, we're missing links like All in the Family, Gaze of Respect, which do give him some defense. So keep in mind, he's a little bit nerfed right here. I guess what we can do is we could just throw him in slot 1. It doesn't really matter. He doesn't have any links active right here anyway. I mean, yeah, we got a pretty bad opener. I mean, I guess in terms of support, it's all right, but yeah, he doesn't link with these guys because it's just another Kid Gohan. And I guess that is another bad thing with this guy. I would say his leader skill, or I guess his teams, if you're running his team, Bottom Master and Disciple, it's not really going to be that great. I mean, it's not a horrible team. It's solid, but I don't really think it's great. There's not that many top tier units on it. I mean, of course, you got a couple units here and there, but in terms of who you're going to like link them with and all that, I don't know. It's a little tricky. I mean, there is Beast Gohan who does link up pretty well with this guy. We brought him on the team, but he's kind of a slot 2 option as well. So it's not really like you can run them as a rotation unless you've stacked up a lot with this guy. But then, we're talking about late into the fight once this guy's, built up, stacked up. So it's kind of tricky with him, but as long as you run him on the right team, which probably isn't this team, I wouldn't recommend bringing this in difficult events. I only have this team so I can show 2 of them. I would recommend throwing him on like a Warriors Raised on Earth or Goku's Family team or like, Bond Parent Child or something like that, because there's just better options on that team. But anyway, right here, we're at 400k defense, so we got a little bit of a better turn right here. As you can see, 5 out of 7 links. We still have some support from the Piccolo. How many links does he share with Beast Gohan? Okay, it's 4 out of 7. So, yeah, I mean, as a rotation, if you're in like a mediocre event that doesn't really hit that hard, you could use this as a pretty good rotation, right? Because 4 out of 7 links, and of course, they both get very good after they build up. But in difficult events, I mean, it's going to be kind of tricky because then Beast Gohan's not really going to be looking that good in terms of his defense until he builds up. He'll take a lot of damage. And then I guess same thing with this Gohan. So right here, we're going to, okay, yeah, we're going to get an 18 key super. We're going to be fine. Not 24 key, but still 18 key. After we super, we're going to be a little over 500k defense, I think. And then we get the 30% damage reduction. So, I mean, that's pretty solid, right? I mean, this is a pretty realistic rotation right here. We got him linked up next to Beast Gohan. And then we do have a little bit of support, but not that much. So overall, pretty impressive. I'll wait to judge him till we, stack up a bit with him and build up with him because, turn 1, we're missing a lot with this guy, right? He does build up to an additional, I think, 58% defense. So then, of course, that's going to make a big difference in terms of his, defensive capabilities. And then also he is stacking. So, of course, like I said, later into the fight, he'll definitely look a lot more impressive. So I guess we could just go ahead and start going over this guy. So he does start off with 4 key and then 58% attack and defense. And then he launches an additional attack that has a great chance to become a super for 6 turns. So the Carnival LR Goku has the exact same thing, but instead he gets the guard for 6 turns. I think the guard is definitely better, but the additional is still really good for him because, of course, he's stacking, so having that additional is pretty useful. But I wish it was just a guaranteed additional super. I think that would have made this guy a lot better because then having that guaranteed additional super, means you're getting at least 2 supers per turn, so then he's stacking up really quick. And because he doesn't have guard, I think he would kind of benefit from stacking up quicker. I mean, he does have the 30% damage reduction, but that's not that crazy. 30% is good for, like, normals, but in terms of his super, I don't know. I don't think that's going to get you that far in terms of like tanking it, way better. But it's still good, in slot 2, if you get the triple super, which right here, I think we got the double super, and then, you get that 30% damage reduction, he's going to be approaching 1,000,000 defense with 30% damage reduction relatively early on in the fight. So, of course, that would be pretty good. I didn't mean to get the super with the AGL Gohan in slot 1, but I guess it is what it is. We're just going to have to make do. So, yeah, Beast Gohan's going to unfortunately get floated off, but it's cool. It is what it is. So, yeah, he has the 4 key and then the 58% attack and defense and then additional for 6 turns. The 4 key, too, for an LR is very useful. Makes it easier to get him his 18 key super. And then he has 4 key and then 158% attack and defense, so that's a separate buff. So in total, he's getting 8 key. I mean, yeah, you're never really struggling with key for this guy, right? You got 8 key there. He builds up key in a separate part of his passive. So, I mean, key is never really going to be an issue with him, right? He's going to be perfectly fine. And then he does get damage reduction by 30% when you perform an 18 key or unit super attack. So you have to do the 18 key or unit super attack, and then you get 30% damage reduction. It's not like you could just throw him in slot 1 and have that. If it was just unrestricted 30% damage reduction, I mean, I don't think that'd be too busted. I feel like that'd be pretty good because then he would have been like a really good slot 1 option. Or maybe he could have had the 30% damage reduction for the first 6 turns or something like that. But I don't know. I think my biggest issue with him is just he's not really a good slot 1 option. And I'm not saying he has to be, but the way he's designed, like he has to take attacks to build up, it kind of makes you think like he would want to be a slot 1 option. So that's what I'm saying. His design is a little complicated, but if you have the right setup for him, you could still make it work. So right here, we're at 666k defense. I mean, yeah, obviously very good. What are we on turn 5? So yeah, definitely impressive. After we super, yeah, we're going to be approaching 1,000,000 defense. And then, of course, we have the 30% damage reduction. So a rotation like this is pretty impressive, but we do have a lot of support. So I guess we can go ahead and pop this active skill. Let me check what this does really quick because I kind of forget, to be honest. So this massively raises his attack temporarily, causes ultimate damage, and then within the turn activated, he gets attacks effective against all types. Okay, so this is going to do pretty solid damage, especially, obviously, because he's stacking attack. So then, the more supers you get, the more damage this is going to do. I guess we can use this active skill with this Gohan, and then we'll let the other Gohan stack up a lot, and then we'll use the active skill later into the fight. So let's go and play this. Okay, 6.2 million damage. I mean, yeah, that's pretty good. I mean, we're all on turn 5, so, like I said, he hasn't really stacked up that much in terms of his attack. But as you know, if a unit that's stacking attack gets to stack attack, and then they have an active skill, of course that active skill is going to be crazy. So, I guess we could just throw him in slot 1. How many links is he going to get? Alright, so we're going to have 2 out of 7 links right here. Actually, probably links a little bit better with the LR one. No, it's still 2 out of 7 links. So, yeah, actually, this as a rotation is going to be really good, this World Tournament LR Piccolo specifically, because then this guy supports the Gohan, and then he gets guard because there's a Kid Gohan on the team, and then, look at that, he's almost at 500k defense with guard, so then he'll definitely hold down slot 1, and then the Gohan can hold down slot 2, as we said, because then he gets the damage reduction on super. So this as a rotation, even though they only share 2 out of 7 links, will actually work, so definitely keep that in mind, and considering this guy's a free-to-play unit, I mean, dude, 500k defense with guard. Definitely really good, right? So, okay, what we can do right here, we could just give that to the Piccolo. This Piccolo isn't really going to do that much damage, so, I mean, you don't really have to worry about that. You can leave the damage up to the Gohan. And, I mean, his damage is going to look pretty solid. I mean, with all the additionals he's going to get, and like I said, you're never really going to be struggling with Ki with him. Again, his damage can be pretty solid. So, right here, we do have a lot of support. Again, we had like 3 out of 7 links. We're at 6.1. Okay, so I mean, that's not that insane, but considering we've got additionals built in right here, that's definitely pretty good, right? So just to continue going over what this guy does, he builds up 1 key up to 5, and then defense plus 8% up to 58% per attack received. I mean, again, I don't really like how it's per attack received. I wish they would have just made it on super with every attack done. So every attack you do, you get the 8% defense and then the 1 key. Because this guy has built-in additionals, as we've said a million times in the video, so you would build up with that relatively quick, and then you could still just throw him in slot 2. But, I mean, I guess it is what it is, right? You still should get it fairly easy. I mean, in most events, for the first phase or 2, they're not really hitting that hard, so you might be able to get away with just throwing this guy in slot 1, especially if he has, like, type advantage or something. So, okay, unfortunately, we got another rotation with all Kid Gohans. I mean, I'm just not paying attention, so is what it is. But we'll just play through this right here. Just keep in mind he doesn't have any links active. But it's not like this is a bad rotation. We have over 100% defensive support, and we've got 50% attack support. So, I mean, we're still looking pretty good right here, but it's just we could be looking a little bit better with links. And then this guy does also get an additional 58% attack within the turn after receiving 5 or more attacks. So, I mean, that's not a humongous buff. It's just 58% attack. I don't think it's something you really need to, like, strive towards, but it's still good. I mean, you'll notice, you know, a difference in terms of his attack stats. So, I mean, definitely pretty good there. And then he does also launch an additional super attack after he receives 8 or more attacks. So, all right, 8 or more attacks is a little bit, especially because, like we said, this is a slot 2 unit, so it's not like receiving a lot of attacks with him is going to be common. But, I mean, I guess the guaranteed additional super is still really useful. If you can get that within the first 6 turns, so then you've got, you know, your first super, which is probably going to be an 18 key, and then you've got your additional that has a great chance to become a super, and then you also have the guaranteed additional super because you received the 8 attacks. I mean, dude, his damage is going to be pretty good, right? Because then, you know, you received 8 attacks, so then you got the, you know, 58% attack. 58% attack from receiving 5 attacks. So in his perfect situation, I mean, dude, this guy's going to be dropping, you know, 3 10 million attack stats. You know, he's stacking. He has the damage reduction on super. So, I mean, this guy definitely can look pretty impressive, but I don't know. It just kind of depends on how the fight goes, obviously, right? I mean, of course, that's with most units, but this guy specifically, because you can't just throw him in slot 1. I mean, you know, 730k defense definitely looks really impressive, but, you know, we got a lot of support right here, and we also got pretty lucky with, you know, building up with him. And in difficult events, you know, with them locking and sealing, of course, you know, they can always kind of nullify that to where it's not really easy to build up with him or anything, because you could get locked in slot 3 and then you don't see this guy till later in the fight, and then he loses the additional for 6 turns, and then he's not stacking up, and then you don't take attacks with him, and then it's just like a snowball effect, right? So in a lot of situations, this guy's going to be looking good, but there definitely are those chances where this guy's just kind of going to get destroyed, right? I mean, it is what it is. It's an RNG-based game. So right here, again, 730k defense. Yeah, I guess we could just keep him in slot 2. I'm going to save the physical orbs for him, just so we can make sure we get a 24 key super. We do have the unit super attack here as well. As long as you have a Goku, Tien, Krillin, or Yamcha on the team, then you get one of the unit super attacks, and then if you have a Piccolo on the team, you get the other one. I'm pretty sure both of the unit super attacks do the exact same thing, so it doesn't really matter which one you get. It's just the animation that's different. But it is worth mentioning, actually, I don't think I mentioned this. He does have an AoE on both of his unit super attacks. So, I mean, you know, World Tournament, you know, you could throw this guy on the team. He's got that AoE. Definitely would be pretty good. And then, you know, because he's got the built-in additionals, anyone you don't finish off, he'll probably just kill them with that. Okay, 3.8 million with the crit. Yeah, I mean, you know, his damage is alright, just like by itself. But what really makes his damage good is all the additionals he's doing. And then the fact that he's stacking attack and then has the active skill. So, of course, that's the bulk of his damage. I mean, his attack stats aren't really going to get crazy, right? But anyway, right here we do have the active skill, so I think we're gonna go ahead and pop this. We're at 900k defense. Okay, yeah, that's definitely pretty good, right? Because then after we super, we're gonna be well over 1 million defense, and then we've got additional, so then we'll probably be pushing like 1.2 million defense, and then we get the 30% damage reduction. So that's what I'm saying. I mean, in the right situations, I mean, dude, this guy can cook in slot 2, right? But keep in mind, we got 50% support. Or we got more than 50%. We've got support from the Piccolo as well, so we've got almost 100% support. So this is a really good rotation for him. I don't really know how realistic this is. But yeah, I guess we can go ahead and pop this active skill. We already played the animation, so we'll just turn the skip on. And how much damage is this going to do? 8.5. I mean, that's still really good, right? We were super effective against all types right there. We stacked up a bit, so pretty solid damage. And keep in mind, we always have the chance to crit, you know, with the hidden potential system. So pretty good overall. Yeah, I guess we can go ahead and cut to the Cell Max test. I feel like Cell Max would be the best place to bring him, obviously, because, you know, he has type advantage in there, but I don't know. If we get locked in slot 1 or sealed or, you know, stuff doesn't work out, you know, even though we got type advantage, we definitely still will get caught. All right, so we're here fighting Cell Max. We got a pretty good rotation for the Gohan right here. We're going to have 2 out of 7 links, but we do have a lot of support, so definitely a pretty good turn. We're at 635k defense. I mean, I think we're good right here. We should be able to survive in slot 1 as long as we don't get supered, because 600k defense with type advantage should be enough to tank normals, I think. So we'll see. If we get supered first thing, though, okay, we're not. And we're also not fully built up, so we're still getting some defense with that. Okay, how much is this going to do? Because we got a little bit of defense with those couple attacks. 477k. Yeah, that's still a bit, but look at that, 10 million, and we still survived. So if we super attacked first and got the 30% damage reduction, yeah, we would have tanked that like really well. Look at that, 7.6 million crit as well. Okay, I mean, I guess in a fight like this, yeah, he's gonna look really impressive just because type advantage. You could probably get away with running him in slot 1, I guess, if you're fully built up. But yeah, I don't know if you get caught and you're not really built up or something like that, and you don't get the opportunity to receive that many attacks with this guy or super attack with him, I feel like this phase isn't going to do a lot of damage to him, right? So, okay, really quick, I do want to mention, his team isn't as bad as I thought. I was looking at it to do a team build for Cell Max. If you have these very specific units, Orange Piccolo, then Beast Gohan, Vegeta and Trunks, then, I mean, you could make a pretty busted team, but I think the main issue is that you're going to be running 2 of this guy. And running 2 of him is going to be tricky because he's a slot 2 unit, and then running 2 slot 2 units is going to be a little difficult, right? But nonetheless, still, he looked really good there. He tanked that super. I guess, yeah, we can just throw him in slot 1 again. Right here, we're at over 800k defense. We're going to have 4 out of 7 links. I mean, we can go to nuke with him right here as well. Kind of forgot to do that in Legendary Vegeta event, so we'll just do that right here. Okay, that really wasn't that good. Can we get a little bit better luck? Okay, so full field event key spheres. That really went from 0 to 100. We'll go ahead and pop the World Tournament announcer item as well. So, okay, I could use Vegeta and Trunks' active skill. Okay, well, it's gone now, but I could have used it. We would have got a little bit of a defensive buff, but yeah, I mean, I guess it is what it is. We'll just leave that out. I want to see how he just tanks by himself. So, 24 key super, almost a million defense, 25 million attack stat. Considering the additionals we have right here, yeah, it's pretty insane. But, I mean, again, it's a nuke test, so not very realistic. Yeah, and then into a 16 million. So if we get supered, we're absolutely fine right here. I am kind of curious how much we would take. Okay, yeah, so we are getting supered. This is probably going to do like 200k, right? 82k, and we're not fully built up. I mean, dude, that's pretty impressive, right? We got a really good setup for him. Like, we were able to get a couple supers off. I mean, we're only on turn 5, so it's not like we really, supered that many times. But, we got pretty lucky with that. But still, that's pretty impressive, right? Okay, well, I mean, yeah, I guess in a fight like this, if you want to throw him on the team, he probably would be fine in slot 1. Mainly because type advantage, but regardless, this guy does still hit really hard. So even taking 82k before he's fully built up is definitely really impressive. And again, like I said, this team isn't horrible. If you've got these main LRs like Vegeta and Trunks, Beast Gohan, Orange Piccolo, you should be able to make it through these difficult events. So I guess with all that shown, we can go ahead and cut to the unit breakdown. Overall, definitely very impressive. Alright, so here we have Beyond the Shining Clouds, Gohan Kid. So starting off with his leader skill, it is Bond of Master and Disciple, category Ki +3, HP and attack and defense plus 200%. Pretty good leader skill, Bond of Master and Disciple. I mean, it's not the best category, but as we already showed in the Cell Max test, definitely has some good options. And then his super attack effect on his 12 key is that he raises attack for 1 turn, does colossal damage. His 18 keys, he raises attack and defense infinitely, so that's a 20% infinite buff. And then he does mega colossal damage. His first unit super attack is that he greatly stacks attack and then stacks defense, mega colossal damage to all enemies. And then the condition for that is that you need a Goku, Krillin, Yamcha, or Tien. And then his other unit super attack is the exact same. And then the condition for that is that you need a Piccolo. So as long as you got a Piccolo, Goku, Krillin, Yamcha, or Tien in the turn, you should be fine. You'll get the unit super attack. And then his passive is that he activates the entrance animation upon entry once only. He gets 4 key, 58% attack and defense, and then launches an additional attack that has a great chance of becoming a super for 6 turns from start of turn. He gets another 4 key and 158% attack and defense at start of turn. And then he reduces damage received by 30% from enemies who have been hit by this character's ultra super attack within the same turn. And then he gets another 1 key up to 5, 8% defense up to 58% with every attack received. That's my main issue with this guy. That should definitely be with every super attack performed instead of every attack received. But, I mean, I guess it is what it is, right? Earlier on in fights, typically they're not going to be hitting that hard, so this guy should be fine to, of course, build up. But it really all depends where you are, right? And then he gets another 58% attack for the rest of battle, starting from the turn in which the character receives the 5th attack in battle. And then he gets the guaranteed additional super once you receive the 8th attack in battle. So 8 attacks isn't that bad. Even if you don't throw him in slot 1, you still will probably get the guaranteed additional super sometime in the fight. It might be a little bit later into the fight, but you still will get it. So, I mean, definitely pretty good that he has that. And again, the additionals built into his kit with him stacking, very good, right? And then his active skill is that he massively raises attack temporarily, causes ultimate damage to enemy, and then within the turn activated, he has attacks effective against all types. The condition for it is that it can be activated when HP is 58% or below, starting from the 5th turn from start of battle, when there's a Bond of Master and Disciple category ally self-excluded, attacking in the same turn. So that's not the worst. Most of the time you should have a Bond of Master and Disciple category ally on your team. So, I mean, definitely pretty good there. And then his links are the Innocents, All in the Family, Sand Warrior Race, Z Fighters, Gaze of Respect, Fierce Battle, Legendary Power. And then his categories are Hybrid Sands, Goku's Family, Youth, Bond of Master and Disciple, Giant Ape Power, Sand Saga, Bond of Parent Child, and then Earthbred Fighters. So, alright, that is the Carnival LR Gohan showcase. Let me know what you guys are thinking of him down in the comments. I know a lot of you aren't really a big fan of him. You know, most people do prefer the Goku over this guy because the Goku, I mean, it's just night and day that he's better. But, again, this guy's still really useful, and in long events, this guy's totally going to slay because, of course, you know, he's a stacker. So, once again, that has been the video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.